Hello, everyone. March the 9th, 18th day of Lent. So in the Gospel, Jesus is asked, Peter approaches him, and it's the famous question, Lord, if my brother sins against me, how often must I forgive him? As many as 7 times. And Peter's think he's like being super magnanimous, super generous. And Jesus kind of deflates him. He says, no, actually 7 times 70. So the whole point here, I think you probably heard this many times before, hopefully you have, it's not 490 times. The number connotes limitless, like until you're dead, you're supposed to forgive, right? This is really hard for people. Let's admit it. It's easy if it's light stuff, but it's really super difficult if it's hard stuff. Personal, if somebody's really hurt you, they've offended you. It's really hard. And in fact, I would say submit is humanly impossible, but not without grace. But it's not impossible if we rely upon grace. We may even need counseling in some scenarios, but with God's grace, it is possible. So our Lord gives a very practical example, as he does with many of his parables, and I'll let you read the example. I encourage you to do so. But essentially what he's doing is having us focus not so much on ourself, the hurt that we have, but on God who has forgiven us. We need to turn our attention away from self. I'm not saying ignore the pain or ignore the hurt, but in order to deal with it properly, as I said, in some cases it may be counseling, but in most cases it's not counseling. It's actually turning to God and seriously looking at the crucifix and realizing you did this for me, not just for those people back there, the Romans and the Jewish people, blah, blah, blah. For me, my sins. You died for my sins, and you didn't have to do that, and I don't deserve that. Serious meditation on this. Like, we have to link our personal sins with the cross, right? It's not just out there, but it's personal. Jesus is personal with us. His love is personal. It's directed to you and me. When we really enter into this, I'm telling you, our hearts will be open and disposed to a grace we thought never existed. And we will find the capacity within ourselves to forgive. And we have to make the decision. God won't force us to do this. But we will find that capacity, and that capacity is God's grace, his infinite power, plus our willingness to actually do this. So think about this. Even if there's nobody right now to forgive, maybe it's somebody in the past, at some point we all have to forgive somebody. Or maybe it's just helping others to think about this without being high and mighty, just giving them another way to think. And that's the gospel way to think. God bless you.